Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom Design, and I'm making a quick card with you today. I'll be using a bunch of Jaded Blossom products, and I'll sort of go through them here. So I'm using the Stitch Circle dies, the Stitch Square dies, the Cloud Stencil, balloon dies. I'll be using the Sentiment Set Go Bananas, the fruit dies, and the mini tag dies 3. Okay, so I've already done some die cutting with my Gemini. I love that machine, it's awesome. Anyway, so I've got a card base here. I'm going to be doing a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch card. And I'll be doing a pedestal card today. So I've scored it at 4 1/4. I'm just going to fold it in half. And just like the Z-fold card that I made with you the other day, we're going to be folding it back on itself at 2 1/8. So you take your scoring board, whatever scoring board that is, you're going to score it at 2 1/8 right here, which is basically half again, right? So you're scoring that in half. I use a Martha Stewart cutting board, or not a cutting board, a Martha Stewart scoring board, but you can use any scoring board. They all work just fine. Anyway, so you score it in on itself like this, and you're going to fold it in. So the opposite way to a Z-fold card. So you're folding it in, and I'm using a Teflon bold folder for this because it doesn't leave any scuff marks on your card base. So there it is. So you've got your card base. It's in half and then in half again. And the idea is this is going to be able to stand up on its own, and it will go like this. Okay, so that's that. So now I have, I took the, I'm actually, sorry, I'm zoning out here. Okay, I used paper from Bella Boulevard. I'm using the Squeeze the Day and the Bella Besties. It matches basically with all their paper products. So I cut a piece of that paper using a Stitch Square die. This is, I believe, 4 by 4 inches, so it's a perfect layer to an A2 size card, or a A2 size square card, that is a 4.25 by 4.25. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting this in half at 2 1/8 inches. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'll be cutting it in half at 2 inches because obviously half of 4 is 2. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be decorating both sides of this. I'll be using glue today just because it's a little easier for me to line up. Oops. Sorry about that. This is the Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky glue. It's my favorite right now, but you could use any white glue really. Okay, so now I'm just lining this up, and the idea is that I'm cutting the layer, so I want a kind of an even border around it, and I don't want to, impede with the score line. I guess I could have put the whole layer on top of the score line, but then it would have made it difficult to fold the card. And I kind of want it to, that's my plan anyway. So I'm going to be doing that. So now I'm just going to put this layer on up here. There we go. And basically I'm just trying to line this up and not mess with the score line. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to be making my layer for the center. So what I did was I used a stitch and scallop circle dies, and I cut out a solid piece and a pattern piece because I like I said before, I like my elements that stick up from the card to have some weight to them. So I use my paper tray ink cardstock, the same as my card base, just to keep things nice and sturdy. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sandwich these guys and line them up. There we go. So I don't know what you guys are up to these days with this quarantine. I'm not sure if you're from a place where they're lifting the orders or not. I'm from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, so we're still going strong with our quarantine. We haven't had a lot of cases here, but you know, any cases is too many cases, right? So we've been staying home. Now I'm going to be adding, I also cut a circle of my paper tray ink cardstock out of white, and that's going to be my background piece, and I'll be doing a little bit of ink blending on that. I'm using Tumble Glass Distress Oxide ink. I like to blend this one because it really blends easy. I'll be using the Jaded Blossom Cloud Matte die, or Cloud stencils, and I'm using Tailored Expressions blending brushes. You can use any blending brush. You can even use blending foams if you like. I just get really good results with these. And all I'm doing is I'm just adding a little bit of color to the background. This doesn't have to be perfect, really. You're just looking for some interest in your background. And, you know, part of it's going to be covered up by the die cutting. But, you know, it just kind of looks neat. It gives a nice little cloud background, which is fun. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. This is going to be hidden by the die cuts quite a bit. Whoops. There we go. So I'm just blending away here. And I'm making a little bit of a mess. I should have maybe taped it down, but you know, when you're filming, you just kind of want to get things going and done. So there we go. And not perfect, but I'm just going to blend in from the edge here just to give it a little bit of definition around the edge. And there we go. I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm working on a Stampin' Up! One of their pads. I have one of these Tim Holtz Tonic Studios glass mats, which I absolutely love, but it's kind of reflective when I'm trying to film a video, so I do tend to craft directly on that, although I like the cleanup for when I'm using these ones. It's just kind of handy. Anyway, there we go. So now I'm going to be layering this circle die on my scallop die here. And we're just going to try and line it up in the center as good as we can. Not being too crazy about it, but there we go. Okay, that looks good. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding it to the front of this card base. And what you want to do is same with the Z-fold card that we made before. You just want to apply your adhesive to the one side, otherwise it's not going to pop up into a pedestal for you. And since that's the look we're going for, that's kind of what we want to do. So I'm going to pop this one up. This is going to be a little bit more dimensional, I guess you'd say. There we go. I just want to try and see where I'm going to be putting my adhesive. So it's going to be below here. There we go. I'm using some foam tape. I like the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals too, and I use those all the time. But when I'm doing like a large area like this, I kind of like to use this foam tape. And I use a lot of it. I like this stuff because it you can peel it and rip it, and you know, it's easy to use. Anyway, so here we go. Now I'm just going to be applying this kind of to the center of this card base like that. So now this is my background. It's going to be going up like this, and you'll end up with like a pedestal card, which kind of looks neat when you send it through the mail. Okay, so now we're going to do some, I guess, ink blending. And again, I'm not very prepared. I'm doing a bad job of getting ready for you guys today. So now I'm just reaching for my distress inks. And I'll be doing some ink blending on my die cut. So this is a lemon die cut that I cut out of the Bella Boulevard paper. And I'll be using mustard seed ink. It's a little darker, and it's going to give me a little, you know, definition around my die cut. So basically that's all I'm doing here. So I'm just going to, you know, come in from the edge, add a little definition around my die cut. You don't have to do this, but I think it really finishes the card off well. It makes it look nice, you know, and nice and pretty, and it gives a little bit more definition. You can sort of see between the two. This one looks a little bit more, I don't know, just a little nicer. So now I'm just going to add a little more ink to this, the lemon slice. Now you can use this as a lime slice and a lime instead of a lemon if you want, but I'm going for lemon right now. So there we go. And I've got a little tiny leaf, and I guess you really don't need to add any extra color to this guy, but you know, why not, right? We'll add a little bit. I'm just going to be using, I'll use peeled paint for this one, peeled paint distress ink, and I'm just using the same little blending brushes from Tailored Expressions, and I'm just, you know, bringing in from the edge. And you don't need a lot of it, just a little bit around the edge, and it kind of just makes it pop a little bit more. There we go. And because I'm still not organized, I've got to grab my blue tin of distress ink here, and I think I'm going to use Broken China to give my balloon a little bit of definition, because I've got a little balloon here too that I cut out with the balloon dies. Because I'm going to be going with a fun sentiment, a birthday sentiment. So this is going to be a party lemon. I'm just adding a little bit more ink to the edge of this guy. I just think it really makes it pop. So there we go. Okay, so we're all ready to go here. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean up by flipping this piece of paper over so you don't have to stare at the mess the whole time. There we go. Excuse me for not being so organized today. I don't know what's going on with me today. There we go. I'd like to say I have an excuse, but I don't. I did some grocery shopping. My mom and dad are on the older side, and my dad's not doing so well, so I really don't want him out in the stores, and certainly not my mother. So I've been doing their grocery shopping for them. And I don't know about you, but every time I go to the grocery store, I'm stressed out. I'm not sick. You know, no one wants to be sick, but you know, you want to be careful, and you want to keep the elderly safe and people that don't have immune systems safe. So, you know, I'm wearing like a material mask to protect other people, but it's still really stressful. Okay, so anyway, now I'm adding my sentiment to my Mini Tag Dies 3 die cut. I cut that out of paper tray and cardstock, and I'm using VersaFine Onyx Blank Ink to stamp along with my Misty. It just, you know, allows me to get a nice sharp image and not screw up, because it's all pre-lined up and it's stuck down with a magnet, and you know, so now I'm pressing my sentiment, and hopefully I get a good, oh, see, this is why I like to use a Misty. Do you see the top of it? It didn't really stamp that great, and that's probably my fault because I didn't press the top well enough. But unless you had a Misty, you would have messed that up, and it's really hard to line up a sentiment again. Boy, this one's taken a lot more effort than normal, eh, guys? It's a good thing I've got a, I don't know how I lived without this thing before. People think I'm such an amazing stamper, but really, you know, it's the Misty, and unfortunately stamping things multiple times. Okay, look how nice and sharp that is. Good. So I love using pigment inks for stamping sentiments. Problem is you can smear it, so you got to be careful. Okay, so I used the sentiment from that stamp set, Go Bananas. It's called it says, "Hope your birthday is so fresh," you know, sort of like the lemons themselves, which is kind of fun. So now I'm just going to stick this sentiment to, or this die cut, sorry, to my other die cut from the Mini Tags 3 set. I love the Mini Tags 3. I use them all the time. I use all the Mini Tags. They're it's kind of nice to have the right tag size for the right sentiment. So there we go. So that's going to be my sentiment for the inside of the card. Now I'm going to assemble my lemons, which is super easy. So I used Paper Tray Ink craft cardstock for the base of it because I wanted the little stem to be, you know, be craft colored. Now I'm adding my inked die cut on top, and then I'll add my little leaf. I love these dies from Jaded Blossom. They're so cute and so much fun. The fruit ones are adorable, and I think you can make such cute fast cards. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm adding my rind piece to my lemon, and I'm just adding a little bit of craft tacky glue to this. Sometimes I use like glue sticks or whatever, or not glue sticks, glue pens, you know, for these pieces, but today I'm just going to use, oops, look at that. I'm just going to use my, there we go. There we are. So I'm just going to use my glue, my craft tacky glue to do that. So there we go, that's done. And I've got my little balloon here too, and I'm going to add, look at that, I stamped, or I cut it out of a used piece of cardstock with stuff on the back. I do that a lot. So if you make a boo-boo, save your cardstock, because you could always stamp on the other side. There's nothing wrong with that. So now I'm just adding my balloon on top of here. There we go. And this is the black cardstock from Paper Tray Ink. It's just nice and stiff. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to be adding our cute little decorations to our card. I'm going to open it up and add my sentiment first. When you make a pedestal card, you want to have something that's going to hold it up. And as you see, if you pop your sentiment up, it's going to hold that up for you, which is awesome. So I'm going to add just a strip of foam tape to the back of this. And that'll pop it up. There we go. I'm just going to add this to the center, to the interior of my card. Trying to get it centered, because you know you want your end product to look good. And look how cute that is. Look, it'll stand up all on its own. So if someone gets a card, they can display it, which is kind of fun. There we go. And I'm going to add my lemon. For this, I think I'm going to use my pop dots. These ones are Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, which, you know, I've told you before, I really like them. They're fun. And now I'm just peeling off my little stickers here. And oops, they've got miniature ones too. I'm going to use that on the leaf. I like to use a lot of foam tape. I hate to have a card when it gets to its destination look all kind of flat and crappy. I like my cards to be really, you know, dimensional and fun. Okay, so I'm just going to add my lemon with the rind, the slice there. I'm going to add this guy going this way. Whoops, and let me just put my little, there we go. How cute is that? And then I'm going to add, I think I'll add my balloon like that. And what I'll do for that is I'm just going to pop up the balloon, and I'll probably glue down the string. You know, you don't have to pop up the whole thing. You can actually glue down part of your die cut, and it kind of gives it a slope, which is kind of fun. But like I said, these things don't have to be perfect. They're homemade cards after all. So I'm actually using my Nuvo glue pen for this part, just because it's such a skinny little piece. And you know, knowing my luck, I'm not the best at lining stuff up, so this boo-boos happen, and I'm a professional at making mistakes. Okay, so you see there's a piece of glue dot. Here, I'll put it like this. There's a piece of glue dot. Oh, look at that. My foam tape is kind of hanging out there too. Okay, well, you don't want that to be sticky, so you can take, you know, your powder that you use for your embossing, and you can kind of remove the stick. Look at that, no more stick. So now when they go to stand it up, it's It's not going to get stuck to anything, which is good. Okay, so there we are. Now, I know everyone knows me. I love to add faces and, you know, make my inanimate objects look like they're people. So I'm just going to add some glasses to this lemon, and probably and some little eyes. So I'm just going to add these glasses. These are from Paper Studio. They're adhesive gems. And I'm also adding little enamel dots. These are from Doodlebug. These are, I think, the black ladybug ones, and I'm just adding them in. Now, Jaded Blossom has faces that you can add, you know, with stamps, which are lots of fun, and I use the faces a lot too. I just didn't feel like pulling them out today. But there we go. How cute is that? So we're adding those. And oh, look at me again. I'm not prepared. I'm going to add some, I believe I'm going to add some blush to my little lemon's face. I like to use chalk. I have been known to use Copic markers, but I'm going to use chalk. This is EK chalk, but any chalks do. And I'm just going to add some little cheeks here. There we go. And then I'm just going to blend this out a little bit. It's like adding a little blush to this. There we go. Which is kind of fun. I probably should have added that on before I put my glasses on, but you know, this stuff happens. Sometimes I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I'm not always organized. People find that shocking, although people that know me know that I'm not exactly the most organized person when I'm crafting. Okay, so now I'm going to add a few little freckles on his little cheeks. There we go. And that's with a jelly roll, a Secura Jelly Roll 10. And how cute is that? It turned out cute. Now we're just going to decorate it. So I'm going to add a few little decorations. I think I will add, I was going to add my standby, my Nouveau Crystal Drops, but I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to add some hearts. These are from Bella Boulevard. They're epoxy hearts from their line. All their stuff kind of matches, which is fun. And I'm just going to add a few little epoxy hearts. Jaded Blossom has heart dies that you could add. I do that a lot. There we go. I'm going to use the green ones today. Look at that. There we go. Peeled down the stick part. And I'm going to add 1, 2. You know what? This guy should have been on the other side. I like to add my stuff in threes, and I also kind of like to balance how I lay stuff out. Kind of a stickler for that. I like to go back and forth. So there we go. So here's my finished card using Jaded Blossom products, and it's a pedestal card, and it says, "Hope your birthday is so fresh." And I hope you had fun today. See you later. Bye.